In this video, I'll write 5 personalized expired listing outreach emails. 5 completely different angles, different tones, different approaches, in 12 minutes using Claude. These aren't form letters. The angle that's actually worked best for me in testing is the contrast angle, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like and why it lands differently than the standard expired outreach. Here's the workflow. Before we start, quick disclaimer. This is a productivity demo, not professional advice. The data on screen is fictional. Real estate rules vary by country and state. Check your broker and local regulations before using any of this with real clients. Some tool links are affiliate. Full disclosure in the description. One important note for this workflow specifically. Check your local MLS rules on contacting expired listing owners. In some markets, there are specific waiting periods or rules about when and how you can reach out. Verify that before you send anything. Now, the workflow. Here's the thing about expired listing outreach. Most of it is terrible, and the sellers know it. When a listing expires, that seller gets hit with a wave of calls and emails from agents all using roughly the same script. I noticed your home didn't sell. I'd love to help. The seller has seen that exact email 15 times in 2 days. They're not impressed. They're annoyed. The problem with writing genuinely differentiated expired outreach manually is that you have to think through multiple distinct angles: empathy, data, contrast, social proof, low pressure. Draft each one. Make sure they don't all blur together, and get the tone right on each. That's 90 minutes minimum if you're doing it well. Most agents either send one template to everyone, or they spend the time and still end up with emails that sound a bit predatory, circling a homeowner's disappointment to sell them something. I kept the empathetic, not predatory instruction explicit in the Claude prompt because the default expired listing tone is cringeworthy. Let me show you what I mean. Opening Claude, new conversation. I'm going to set up the context block first, property details, and the specific tone instruction, then generate all 5 in one prompt. Before I show you the good workflow, let me show you what happens if I don't specify empathetic, not predatory. The default expired listing tone that most AI tools produce is exactly the problem I described. There it is. I noticed your home at 123 Sample Street is no longer on the market. I've helped many homeowners in similar situations. It's technically inoffensive, but it's also exactly what every other agent just sent. And there's a faint undertone of, I'm here because you failed and I know better, which is exactly the energy that puts sellers on the defensive. The empathetic, not predatory instruction completely changes this. Let me show you. New conversation. The context block first. Claude confirmed the context. Now the 5-angle generation prompt. This is the one to write down. Let me walk through the first 2 in detail. Angle 1, the empathy first opener. It starts, after 94 days, a listing that didn't close isn't just a business outcome. It's a real disruption to your plans. That's an acknowledgement of the human cost, not just the transaction cost. It doesn't say, I'm sorry your previous agent failed. It doesn't imply the seller made a mistake. It just names the disruption. Then it offers a conversation, not a pitch, not a 7-step plan, just a conversation. That's the energy that gets a reply. Angle 3, the contrast angle. This is the one I've actually used. The opener references the minimal online presence of the previous listing, but not accusatorially, just as a market reality. It then describes what a full marketing footprint actually looks like: professional photography, targeted digital ads, MLS syndication to a specific number of platforms, open house strategy. It shows the difference without saying the other agent was bad. The implicit message is, there's more that can be done. That's a much more compelling argument than hire me because I'm better. The no obligation language in the close is something I kept specific. Claude's default is sometimes too vague there. I added the explicit instruction to keep it in the prompt. The empathy first version has a solid structure, but the opener is a touch generic. It could apply to any expired listing in any city. Let me sharpen it with one follow-up prompt. 3 alternatives. I like the second one. 94 days is a long time to keep your house show ready. Keep your schedule flexible and wait. That opener earns immediate credibility. A seller who lived through that process knows exactly what it costs: the constant tidying, the disrupted evenings, the keeping the kids quiet for showings. Naming that experience in the first sentence signals that the writer understands it from the inside. I'll drop that opener into the final version. Now I'm copying all 5 emails into my CRM email sequence template. My workflow is to load these as a 5-step automated or semi-automated sequence. Send angle 2 on day 1, angle 1 on day 3, Angle 3 on day 5. Angle 5 on day 8 if no response. Hold angle 4 for a call follow-up. The data-led angle goes first because it's informative without being emotional. It's the lowest pressure opening. The empathy angle goes second because once they've read the data context, the human acknowledgement lands better. Play with the sequence order based on your market and your style. The 5 emails are the tool. How you sequence them is your call. Here's what we built in 12 minutes. 5 expired listing outreach emails across 5 completely distinct angles. Empathy first, data-led, contrast, social proof, and low-pressure invite. Each one is 150 to 175 words. Each one has a different opener. All 5 close with the same no-obligation call offer. Tone, empathetic, not predatory, across all 5. The manual alternative, 90 minutes of drafting, probably producing 2 or 3 versions that blur together, and likely defaulting to a tone that's slightly too sleazy because that's the default in this category. The 12-minute version gives you 5 distinct tools and the flexibility to use different angles for different sellers based on what you know about their situation. One more time, because it's important, check your local MLS rules before you contact expired listing owners. Some markets have specific waiting periods. Some brokerages have specific protocols. The workflow gives you the emails. When and whether to send them is a compliance question you need to verify for your specific jurisdiction and brokerage. That's a 10-minute check that protects you. All 5 prompts, the context setup, the 5-angle generation, and the opener refinement prompt, are in the description. The prompt pack for real estate agents includes a variation of this workflow for FSBO outreach and for past client re-engagement, both with the same 5-angle format. Link in the description. Subscribe for a new workflow every week. And if expired listings are a big part of your lead strategy, drop a comment with the angle that works best in your market. I'm genuinely curious whether the contrast angle is as consistent everywhere as it's been in my testing.